Hello friends, let us paint this simplified streetscapes in watercolor. This is inspired from a reference that I found in a Facebook page called Painting References. You may go and check out that page. You will have a lot of inspiring references there. Without further delay, let us begin the tutorial. I am using a cold pressed watercolor paper, 100% cotton, and the size of the paper that I am using is slightly smaller than A4. To be precise, it is 1/8 of a full sheet. So for easy reference, I have placed the finished image on the top left or right corner, and I am using a graphite pencil for the drawing. The reference for this was a little bit more complex, so I thought of putting the finished image here for simplicity. So I'm focusing on the dome and some of the details of this part of the building, and on the right side of the building I'll be most likely diffusing, as you can see from the finished image. The attention is on somewhere where you can find the cars and the figures and all those things. Right, very simplified drawing. You don't have to draw very precisely all the details. We should be, focusing on the focal area, and the rest of the area, the drawing can be very loose, very sort of casual. Okay. For the details like the windows and other things, I don't precisely draw them. I'm just suggesting some simplified windows. And while making these windows, you may pay attention to the perspective. Okay, so the perspective is still important even if you simplify it. And a couple of cars here. And when you make these cars, the drawing is simple, and we should also worry about the scale of it. Okay, it should not be too big, and it should not be too small as well. Okay, so you can pay attention to this. The size of the cars, size of the figures, etc. Don't make them too big or too small. And the left side buildings, we'll be simplifying the left side buildings as a whole. We don't need too much of details. See, the left side part and the right side part, both we will be simplifying. Only around the focal area we will be adding little details. Maybe a couple of lamp posts. Right. Maybe a traffic lamp here, traffic light. And an electric pole, maybe good somewhere here. Okay. Right. I think this much is sufficient. This much is good enough for the drawing, and maybe one slightly bigger figure in front. So that it will create a little bit more sense of depth. Okay. Now we can do the washing phase. Let us wet the sky area. For the big washes, I am using a mop brush, and the brand that I am using is Camel mop brush. And the watercolors that I am going to use are from Camel brand, but you can use any decent watercolors, any decent brushes. You don't have to specifically use the one that I am using. Okay, so it's a wet on wet sky, and I think the sky doesn't have to be very detailed. Many times I don't even paint the sky because in a streetscapes, sometimes the sky may not be that important, and I many times don't paint the sky. Now let us make some purplish, kind of a darker purplish color, and let us finish the left side portion by just giving some dark tones. That's it. Maybe we'll give some additional touches later, but I don't want to I'm not at least planning to give details on the left side building. Okay, but that is important to give the overall composition, the depth, and to basically to make it interesting. Okay, so you may find that this is very dark at this point, and you should remember that watercolor dries light. So I'm expecting that it will dry very lighter, not very lighter, at least lighter to certain extent. Okay, I think this is okay. It is getting good. Maybe little bit of a warmer tone uh, on the top area of the building. Okay, it's a mix of warm and cool colors. Right, I think we are pretty much done for the base wash of the left side building. I'm adding little bit of a touch of white, and I'm making some marks. See, the idea behind this is that this white color will spread and it will create some kind of a suggestion for some architectural details. Okay, because the background is still wet, and on a wet surface we are applying some thick pigment, and I am expecting that it will spread and it will create some illusion of some architectural details. Whether it works good or not, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Some textures, splattering of some textures. See, overall I wanted to make it look little engaged. That's it. Now let us start for the main building. I have used the Naples yellow and a little bit of orange for this. And I'm using again a small size mop brush for this. See, I have slightly added a little bit of a burnt sienna to the mix so that the color is slightly varying. So I don't want a uniform flat color for the building. So a little bit of a tone variation, color variation by mixing a little bit of maybe gray, little bit of brown. That way I'm changing the color of the main building. I mean, varying the color of the main building. And many times it merges on the paper. You can see that it is merging on the paper. I'm adding a little bit more orange, more burnt sienna, so that at some places it looks more darker and some places it looks lighter. Just for some color variation that makes it little more interesting. Making it a little interesting, that's it. Otherwise we could have done with flat washes, but flat washes may not be very interesting. Little bit of tonal variations, color variations may be good. And at the bottom of the building I'm adding little bit of darker tones, darker colors like Paints Grey to the previous mix, and I'm just merging it to the top portion of the building. And usually you will find that the lower areas of the buildings are slightly darker because it may not hit too much of light. Okay. And here I am little bit worried, or I am cautious about the shape of the cars and figures. I am painting around some little bit of a negative painting. Okay, I think this much is good for the building for now. And I am adding burnt sienna wash for the ground, and I will add little bit of maybe grayish blue to this, because this much of a warm color for the road is not looking good. So adding little bit of blue and maybe Paints Grey. You can see, I mean, wherever it is important, I am showing the color mix also, how thick the consistency is. And I am using a slightly smaller brush now. Okay. So for the main washes, the sky, I have used a bigger mop brush. And for the smaller washes, I am using a medium size mop brush. And you remember that the paper size was small. It is A4 size, even slightly smaller than A4. Now let us go for the green brushworks. olive green and little bit of Naples yellow for the tree. And I'll be adding more darker tones like burnt sienna and maybe some amount of blue to make it even darker. Sometimes to the dark olive green, I also mix a little bit of red to make it even more grayish or darker. Okay, so because we need color variation, so okay, we need color variations. Feel free to mix colors, okay, mix colors to make it slightly lighter, darker, and play with the tones, play with the colors. Okay, I use olive green for this as main color, and occasionally mixing blue, Payne's gray, or even red for making it looking darker. Mainly it is large wash, and some of at the edges I am making some loose edge leaves. That's it. At this point it is more of grayish blue color, and I am kind of merging it together with the ground so that we don't have to worry about precisely where the tree ends, where the road begins. We are just softening it and we are softly merging it. Little bit of a texture to make color mix that I am using. Little bit of blue, little bit of a lavender sort of color, touch of white, and I am splattering it with a tiny brush. I just lifted some colors because I thought it was much darker there. And here I am mixing cobalt green and Payne's gray for the dome. Okay. Here we should be a little careful about the shape of it because it is a very recognizable kind of a geometrical shape. So you can, it is good if you keep the symmetry and the shape overall should be a little, convincing. So there are some lighter tones. I am pressing the brush hard to make it lighter tones. And let us mix some darker tones and add some more darker touches to this. Everything is kind of suggested, not very precise. Okay. Sort of impressionistic kind of a brushwork. A small round brush. All my brushes are synthetic. Okay. And the mop brushes are soft, and this round brush it may be slightly, stiff synthetic. Some sort of dry brushworks. I could have done it better, I feel. I didn't come correctly, but I'm still proceeding. It looks okay. Maybe I will suggest some windows. Just some dry brushwork, okay. I mean, I'm not worried about making it very precise. If you want, you can make it precise, okay. If you want to make it precise, of course, you can go ahead and make it precise. You can draw it precisely and you can paint it precisely. Here I am just worrying about some placement, that's it. And whatever marks you make, it should respect the perspective. I think it is reading reasonably okay. And yeah, I don't want to do it too much. Okay, I think I shouldn't do even this much of details. I shouldn't do. Okay. Try to avoid details. So whenever you do these kind of things, try to retain the details only to the focal area, and try to avoid additional details all around. Okay. It may strain your viewer's eye, and it may not be noticed. Your efforts may not be noticed, and it may even spoil the importance of the focal area. So go for minimum details to the non-focal areas, and add little bit of details, necessary details for the focal area. right. Maybe a couple of doors, smudging with my finger. Because as it goes away from the focal area, I just wanted suggestions, not precisions. Okay. Some kind of ornamentation to the left side building. Again, very simple suggestions. Okay. Some sort of dry brushworks to suggest the overall perspective, and just to give a feeling that it is a building. That's it. Yeah, some of my brushworks are not done well, but I am ignoring those things. If it was a kind of commission work or some exhibition work, I would have taken little bit more care. But this is a practice work. Okay, this I just wanted to show that in this way we can practice and learn and improve our skills. There was some tree here, so I'm just suggesting some tree with a dark olive gray color, and I think it is little dark, so I'm lifting the color slightly. Okay, I think that much is good, and let us now suggest the cars. It is very, see, this is a very tiny piece of element, so we have to be little careful. So I'm little careful with my round brush to suggest the cars and the figures correctly. Again, not too much of details, but whatever little bit we do, we have to be little precise here, because that is a focal area. Okay, so things here should be little more convincing. I'm not telling that it should be precise, but it should be reasonably convincing. Using a small round brush, synthetic round brush, and the dark colors are mainly Paints Gray. Okay, I thought this area can be slightly bit darker to get some more contrast around the focal area. See, focal area we need more contrast. I think that is okay. The cards are little bit more strongly popping up. And now let us paint these figures. Some couple of different colors. I'm using cobalt green for the first figure. Maybe a little bit of mixed that with little bit of cerulean blue, and some different colors, red. You can pick your colors. Okay, you don't have to use the same colors that I am using. You can pick up your own colors. Okay. Do use the materials that you have, the brand of colors, the brushes, the pencil, the paper, and you use your materials. So you don't have to wait for the perfect materials. The more practice is important. Do more and more practice, and that is going to improve your skill. Okay? If you have good materials, of course, the quality of the output, quality of the work will surely be better, but better approach would be to keep practicing. Okay, keep practicing with whatever materials you have, and then whenever you have the good materials, you can continue the practice with good materials. And if you are finding difficulty in painting these tiny figures, there is a playlist in my channel, painting suggestive figures. There are a lot of videos on painting small figures. Some of them are dealing with their perspective, the box shape, etc. So you can go through those playlists, and you will find informative videos there. And these figures are not very perfect, just very, impressionistic. Okay. I'm using thick orange color for the exposed body part, the skin tone. And these are little opaque touches. So whatever I am going to do now on, it may be thick pigment, and you may think that it is little bit of opaque treatment, because we are not looking for the transparency from now onwards, because we need more contrast. Okay. So these are some thick pigments and done with smaller brushes. Okay. and little bit of precision is required at this point. Until now, everything was kindly casual and loose when it comes to the coloring aspect and the drawing aspect. And at the focal area, of course, we were a little bit careful and we were a little precise. I think overall it is reading reasonably good. And some lamppost. See, I'm not making it very beautiful or very precise. These are just some suggestions, okay? If you're following along and if you want to make it beautiful, of course you can do that. But try practicing more bold and more casual. That will improve the quality of your work, in my view. I mean, in long run. Right. Overall, let me know how do you feel about this particular video, and if you think this was informative and if you could learn something from this, please let me know. If I should make more videos of this sort, maybe picking up more complicated subjects, let me know if you think this is useful to you, so that I can plan for more videos of these kind of subjects. Okay. I like these kind of subjects, to be frank. So if you think it is good for you also, then we can make more videos. And an electric pole here. Again, a dry brushwork. And here I am using a kind of a liner brush. Okay. This is a Chinese calligraphy type brush I use for the line work here. And you can use any liner brush, okay, or any small size synthetic round brush also is good enough for this. I think it is developing reasonably okay. Maybe let us make some cables. Sorry, my hand is kind of blocking. Maybe some lines across, but those lines are not very clearly visible, but it's okay, I think. Everything is dark, so it may not be very much visible, but I don't want that to have too much of contrast. What else? See, whenever I move my hand without making any brush marks, that means I'm thinking, okay, I'm evaluating something in my mind and then deciding to discard. Right. I think we are pretty much done now. We can go for the washes for the shadow underneath. It is a kind of grayish purple, mainly paints gray and little bit of orange. And maybe I'll make it little bit more orangish, warmer at the edge of the shadow, so that it will have some feeling of light, some presence of light there. Right. I think we are pretty much done, and some final highlighting touches with pure white. And this is something that many people may not like, using of white in watercolors. If you don't like using of white in watercolors, you can stay away from this. But I find that these kind of small, tiny touches of white makes it very interesting. Okay, so that is the reason I am using it. And you can also give a little bit of corrections if you want to do. And overall, I like these tiny highlights. Okay, it will show the presence of light. It will help these figures grabbing more attention. And yeah, you have to do it very carefully. These white touches you should be doing very carefully. Judiciously use it, but don't overdo it. Okay. It is very easy that you may keep using these white touches and it will spoil your work. Right. I think I am pretty much done now. We can treat it as done. Okay. I will do the shadows now, and then we can call it as done. So I hope this video was informative. You could learn something from this video, and if you think it was informative, it was helping you, please do subscribe and press the bell notification, and write your questions, comments, queries in the comment box below. And if you want to say something in appreciation of my effort, so please write them into the comment box below. That will encourage me, that will motivate me to create more videos for you. And if you think this video can help your artist friends or groups, please share it so that they also can take benefit of the video, and I also get the benefit that the video reaches to more people. So without further delay, let us finish it. So thank you very much once again for watching this video and being with me. And if you think this was informative, please do subscribe and press the bell notification and share it to your artist friends and groups. Thank you very much for your support, and we will soon see you with another interesting video. And continue the practicing and keep improving, and keep painting. I wish you a happy painting until we meet again. Bye bye.